Hello and welcome to the Vance Report. I'm State Senator Pat Vance, representing parts of Cumberland and York counties. Each month I visit a local business to give viewers an inside look at how these businesses operate. While preparing for this month's show, I visited Shop American Made in Dover in late May and talked to owner Barbara Schrum. Later that day, Barbara helped a friend retrieve her belongings from the friend's former residence. While there, the friend's estranged husband killed them both. As a memorial to Barb, I have invited Barb's daughters and a local official who works on domestic violence into the studio. We begin with our program with Barb's daughters, Alicia and Becky. Welcome.
Thank you.
I appreciate your coming. I know it has to be very difficult for you.
Yes.
Indeed. But you turned your sorrow into something productive to speak out against domestic violence. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. I started a petition about a week ago. This is not a subject I ever thought would touch my life. And I just felt very strongly that my mom and Lori didn't get the help that they needed, and this probably could have been prevented, and a lot of other tragedies too. So I didn't have a lot of expectations at first. I knew that my mom was very popular and the store was very popular. So within less than 24 hours, we had 500 people that signed the petition. And I checked.
Well, tell us what the petition says.
It's for making a lethality assessment program mandatory in PA.
Well, I think you probably need to explain that. I've read about it now, but maybe the viewers don't know what that is.
I'm still learning as well, but it's a program that Maryland started. And basically, it's a series of questions that first responders ask someone who's calling or at the residence looking for help. And based on those answers, the police officer determines whether or not they think the person's life is in danger, and then they automatically get them in contact with whoever.
Access York.
Right, correct.
But could they, if in fact they think they may be in danger, may they tell them, don't go back?
Yes.
Your belongings aren't worth your life?
And I read through it, and like steps 1 through 4 are like basically the same, trying to encourage the person. You know, if the person says, oh, I don't know, like they are supposed to continue asking, like, are you sure? Like, we feel this is the best thing for you, etc. So it's not mandatory in all jurisdictions in Pennsylvania. So that is my hope that at the end of all this, that's what will come out of it. So
well, that's a really laudable goal. And I know you worked in the store with your mother because I saw you there when I came down. And you were a cook too.
Yes.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Well, what's going to happen to the store? Your mother loved it. I was so amazed at her enthusiasm about the business.
Yes. Well, we did, the next week we opened for a couple hours for people to come in if they wanted to buy anything, but mostly just to, you know, share their stories and visit. And we had an immense amount of love and support just in those couple hours. It was constant.
I think she was so proud of the store. That's what came through so clearly, because there were a lot of things in the store.
Yes.
and I said to her, how do you ever know where everything is? She said, I know where everything is.
She does. I have no idea how.
But I said, how do you ever take inventory, is what I said to her. And
yeah,
she
that's
said,
the fun part.
I know where everything is. And I remember the turkey pies that you were making with that beautiful fluted crust.
Yes.
Do you remember that? And you said, you don't do that. Your mother
She does
did
the
that.
crust because she does all the pies, and that's, I mean, she is just awesome at it. So that's what she always did. She would always do roll out the crust for the pies.
Do you have any other plans to talk about in the community about domestic violence? Has anybody else contacted you? Because you're wonderful spokespeople for it.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been reaching out to people. I've been in contact with Liz at the York Dispatch, who wrote a couple articles. So her and I have been connecting, and she's been connecting with me with people. So I don't plan on stopping now.
I'm glad to hear that. We're hopeful that somebody may want to show this someplace else so that your voices can be heard out, not just in your community, but everywhere.
Right. That would be wonderful.
Right. Laurie's family did say that they wanted to work towards getting some kind of meeting together with the community and having some representatives there, and just to go over everything with everybody and have everybody involved in it.
That's a terrific idea, because the community has to come together and make enough noise to make it for people to stop and listen.
Yes.
I know that we're going to hear later in the program, but a lot of PFAs are requested in York County aren't granted. And so we need to kind of shine a light on that and see why not.
Yes.
It was amazing to me on the petition website. People can comment as to why they're signing.
Okay.
So I've been reading through the comments, and a lot of people have been sharing their own stories. And it was amazing to me how many people applied and didn't get it.
Is that right?
Or were told we can't do anything until something happens, which is just an unreasonable
Of course it is.
response.
And we've been checking with constables say, well, they'll only go if there's a PFA. But I guess it's easy to second guess and say how important are any possessions.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the time you think you want your belongings and they're yours, and I can understand that as well.
Right.
So maybe you should write a book with all these comments that are there. No, seriously.
Yeah,
it might
I
be-
plan on printing them all out and showing them or sending them to whoever I need to. But
Okay. Well, I think we're going to show, we're going to be joined in a few minutes by somebody who's an expert on domestic violence, but we wanted to look at the clip from Shop American Made. My goodness, everything here is American made.
Yes, it is.
And it looks like we have quite a variety.
We do, yeah.
So where do you get all of your things that you sell?
Well, I have about 20 manufacturers that I purchase from throughout the United States. Boots and jeans, t-shirts, sandals, that sort of thing. And then I also have about 80 local vendors.
Really?
Quite a few in Dover, but even like, West York, Hanover, that area, that, bring their items in that they make. Sewing or
Lead
jewelry.
forth. We'll look at whatever you
Okay.
want to show us, particularly if it's something that's been made locally.
Okay. Some of that is, well, we can start back here.
Okay. Oh my goodness, this
Yeah.
goes on and on, doesn't it?
But we have the Texas jeans. It's called Texas jeans, but they're made in North Carolina.
Okay.
And then we have the boots, the Thorogood boots, and they're made in Wisconsin. I sell a lot of them. The guys love them because they are American made and
Okay.
they wear very well.
And these little things back there, are they for dolls or babies?
No,
or-
it's just some blankets and baby items and
And who
things.
makes them?
Just different local people. I have about 6 or 8 ladies who do sewing, and also about 6 or 8 ladies who do knitting and crocheting and things. So
Well,
we
what
have
age group are your crafters?
all ages.
All ages?
I'll show you a little later. We have 12-year-old is our youngest.
Okay.
I do have a lady in her mid-80s who also crochets
Terrific.
sweaters and things. But we have different things. Dish towels. This is something, a baked potato bag that you can make a baked potato in the microwave. It gets
Really?
wonderful.
I
Yes.
must say I never
Is it-
heard of a baked potato bag.
Yep. And then pocketbooks, tea towels, different things.
How many
Okay.
people work for you?
It's just me and my daughter. We also
Okay.
have a kitchen, and we can talk about that. But she does
All
the
right.
cooking. I run the store and do the chocolates, and because we do chocolates and desserts and different things too.
Well, how
We're
long
busy.
have you been here?
It's been over 3 years. The kitchen is only 2 years old,
Okay.
but 3 years for the store itself.
I think you're a
So,
busy lady.
I am. But we.
Oh, wait,
Some
don't
things
go
it's
too
just
fast. I have
yes.
to look at everything.
Okay. These things come from Lancaster County.
Oh, those are nice.
Yeah. And just
Those are
some
very
more
nice.
baby dresses. Aren't these adorable? I just
And somebody
love.
crocheted
Yes.
those?
Beautiful. Beautiful
Oh, they are?
handiwork.
Now, that's
Yep.
local?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Manchester, Dillsburg area.
This is quite an elaborate purse, too. Mm-hmm. Wow. There's so much to look at. I can't quite take it all
There
in
is a
so
lot.
quickly.
Yeah. And we have a little toy section that
Oh,
the
and
kids always
somebody-
seem to find.
Somebody actually made these,
Yes,
right?
a local man, yes.
And they're puzzles. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that till I picked it up.
Yeah.
Oh, how nice. And how would one, where did they make the plastic?
This is called Green. This is Green Toys, but there's also a company called Preserve that they do kitchen containers and things. I have
Okay.
them over there. So there are some. There's some like a lot of packaging comes from the U.S. still, and
Good.
this is a lady from Chambersburg. It does the flags, the garden flags.
Okay. Oh, and
just-
wreaths.
it's- Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a local lady. She also sews and does wreaths.
That's a very pretty wreath. Now, you know,
A lot of at-home moms.
Okay.
A lot of grandmas. Some people just sit at night and sew, and the others have businesses. So I'd say half of my vendors actually have a business.
Okay.
Yep.
There is what do you think is your inventory? How many items do you
Oh
have?
gosh, I don't know. A lot.
I mean, there's so
Yes.
much to see.
Yeah.
Oh, we have dog treats
Yes,
here
Miss
too.
Lucy's dog
Oh,
treats.
yes,
You know
I
Miss.
see.
Yes, you know Roxanne.
We have visited Miss Lucy's dog treats.
Yes. And then actually we still have. You remember Fuller Brush and Stanley products?
I do.
Yes.
Oh, and Burt's
Okay.
Bees.
Yes, Burt's Bees is USA made.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And then these are Korean cutting boards.
Oh, okay.
That, gentleman makes, and they're great because you can't, if you do scratch them, you can just buff it out with the steel wool pad, just like a Korean countertop. And
I didn't know
so it's-
that, and I
yeah.
have a Korean. I didn't know I could buff out.
Yep. Steel.
Just
yep.
learned something.
Yep.
Bottle bags.
Yep. For wine bottles, just pictures, pot holders.
Look at this. These
Hair clips.
vintage. Now,
Yeah.
are these old or
Most-
they're made
they,
to look old?
No, they are old.
They
yes,
are
yeah.
old. Oh, they're
Yeah.
quite lovely.
Yeah,
They
like
really are.
98% of the things I have are new, but I do have some vintage items that are
They
that
are
is-
lovely.
a few antiques. And like most of the antiques are made in USA because everything used to be made in USA.
I like this.
Yes.
Isn't it about waiting for the storm to pass? It's learning to dance in the rain.
We have local candles, lip gloss. That's ladies from Dillsburg. These puzzles are really neat. This is a lady down in the Red Line area, and she cuts them. I don't know how she does it, but
Oh,
it's,
that is lovely.
I know, beautiful.
Oh my golly.
And then more pocketbooks. This is a lady from Dillsburg. Makes
Oh, this
a couple
is
different-
lovely, isn't it? With the lady. Oh, that's
And look,
very
this is
pretty.
a little different too. Look how you. It's like a pouch.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing's going
With
to come
the
out of
zipper.
there. It's a
Oh.
great one to like take to
That's-
the airport or something. Where you,
That's a great
you don't want anybody
idea.
getting in your. And the Okabashi sandals are very, very comfortable. Really great. A lot of people with feet issues buy these.
Okay.
They're made in Georgia. And then this is actually our youngest vendor. Her name is Aaliyah, and she is 12.
And she's making these
and
earrings.
she's a little entrepreneur, homeschooled,
good
and she
for
does.
her.
And I sell quite a few of her things. This is a Dover lady, does the wiring of the stones.
Ooh. Don't go so fast, Barbara.
Okay. This is Rated
Utensils.
Cutlery. It's made
Oh.
in Iowa. That is a manufacturer. And
Iowa.
Yes, and they've been in business over 60 years.
Wow.
So they didn't need to go to China like a lot of companies did. They are very successful and make a great product.
Well, we certainly hope more people want to buy American.
Yes, yes, and they do. I'm surprised at the amount of people that are really stuck on, they're
Good.
very determined to find American-made
We
products.
need to do more of that. Well, let's look at the food for
okay.
now.
Yeah, that's a popular item. Especially
And-
for the men. They can't get past this table.
Well, now who makes all this?
Well, some of it, like this is Clay's candies. You probably saw that before. The hard candies that's been around for a long, long time. But the chocolates, I use Wilbur's chocolate
Okay.
from Ephrata. And I make the fudge, and I make the chocolates.
And so
I-
you
the
find time to
cookies.
do this when?
Before
do you
I open
sleep?
it after. A little bit sometimes.
These are beautiful.
But yeah.
Aren't they pretty? Is that white
Yes,
chocolate?
Yes, yes. Yep. And then we do like bark. We just whatever I feel like doing. Actually, unless I get orders, I get a lot of orders. And this is like a dried pineapple dipped in dark chocolate. It's just to die for. So yeah, I get orders a lot, but when I don't have orders, I just make whatever I feel like making.
Well, now,
Pineapple upside down cake. or
What's in
something.
your freezer or your
Okay, this is the
cooler?
cooler. The cooler is the stuff that comes from our kitchen. And my
Okay.
daughter Becky is the one that does the cooking.
Okay.
And we call it Sam's Kitchen for Shop American
Made.
So usually there's a lot of things in here, but we were really busy yesterday and sold nothing. Yesterday we made hog maw and salads, I think. Today, we made fish tacos yesterday too. And today we made baked turkey pies.
I think
So,
you have to give us the secret of all your energy.
just keep going.
Oh
Just
my
keep going.
goodness.
So.
And I see a lot of wooden things, particularly out on the porch.
Yes.
Can we
yes,
look
I
at
have
those
3.
too?
Yes, we can. Yep, and I have a local potter, is an older gentleman who just does it for fun.
my
He's not a
goodness.
professional, but he does a really nice job. He does
That is very
neat
beautiful.
things, even like this plate. This is something new. He just brought this in yesterday.
Oh, how nice. That is very
Unique,
nice.
So it's definitely one of a kind. This is my daughter Becky. She does the cooking here in Sam's Kitchen, which is part of Shop American Made. And today we made baked turkey pies, and but we do a different soup or salad at lunchtime, and then a meal, which is ready shortly after. And most of it is carry out, but we do have space on our deck in the back and a table, out front that if you want to eat here, you can. We get a lot of orders ahead of time. It's best if you order
Ahead of time.
Yes, ahead of time.
They are beautiful. Now, how many of those did you make?
I think 9 was today. Yeah. But we only have 1 extra. I guess we had orders, and we filled the orders
Wow.
first, and then we have
Well, they're
food stuff.
beautiful, so you must be a wonderful baker and cook.
Well, she does the crust. That's her specialty.
Ah.
Because
She does
I
the
do the
pies, so she does the crust.
but
That's,
most everything else Becky cooks.
Well,
Soups
you
and
two
everything.
have a great thing going here. You
Yeah.
really do.
We're enjoying it, and our customers are enjoying it too.
I'm sure. And the
Because she
fact
cooks
you
like
have a
grandma.
menu for every, you cook like a grandma.
She does.
I think that's a compliment.
Yeah.
It is. Okay. Well, thank you
Yes.
so much for sharing those with us. Oh, I haven't seen one of these racks in a very long time.
Yeah, that's not for sale. It belongs to the lady that makes the rugs. It's a lady from Manchester, and she makes the braided rugs. This is a local gentleman, makes the rag rugs here. That's an old-fashioned thing too.
That is very old-fashioned.
But
They're
But
very
people like
nice.
that. They don't, they like. And the wooden items, I have 3 or 4 different guys who do the birdhouses or cabinets.
Well, who does this?
That's a new vendor of mine. She just paints a clay pot.
But that's very
and
pretty.
Yes, and that's slate. She brought the slate. And then this is another girl. This is a girl that she also does the aprons and the wreaths. So I'm
She's
not the only one that's-
multi-talented, right?
I'm not the only one that's busy. Yeah, but these are beautiful.
They
The
are
garden
very
rocks.
beautiful. Joining me now is Richard Azera with the York County Task Force on Domestic Violence. Thank you very much for joining us, Rich.
Thank you for inviting me.
You know, this horrible tragedy has brought us together. I know you know we went to interview Barbara Schramm at her wonderful shop on a Friday morning, and Friday night she was killed.
Right.
She was such a vivacious, wonderful woman, and we want people to know what a tragedy, a horror domestic violence is. So let's discuss, how many incidences have you had this year?
We're about at 10 right now, but
Yes, or
10 fatalities related to domestic violence, and I'm so pleased that you had Barbara's daughters here. I think it's very easy for people not to see the human side of these stories, and both daughters did a fabulous job, and we offer our condolences to Barbara and Laurie's families. It's so important for all of us to remember that these are human variables.
well, they're brave young women.
Absolutely.
And they've been empowered to speak out, and I think they probably can touch more people than perhaps either one of us can, because they're speaking from personal experience.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, there's Alicia mentioned something about the lethality assessment. I'm interested to know more about that. I think that in the end, well, you describe it to me. I won't talk about it in the end.
Sure. Alicia did a wonderful job explaining it. The lethality assessment is, in essence, a screening tool that allows law enforcement to determine if a domestic violence situation is potentially fatal. It's 11 quick, very user-friendly questions to ask, at which time the law enforcement officer, if an individual screens in, can contact in York, Access York, or anywhere throughout the state, their local domestic violence program, directly from the site. And the reason why this is so profound is oftentimes the hardest part of domestic violence intervention is making that first call. So many folks really labor over, should I call, are people going to make me do things I don't want to do? And I think they are pleased to hear that the voice on the other end of the line is friendly and is empowering and is really supportive. So, it is essentially a screening tool, and law enforcement that has used it in York has found it very useful.
Well, let's say that a police officer calls you. Then how do you proceed from there?
We talk specifically to the victim. We give them options. We talk about safety planning. A lot of their options, people don't realize the options aren't only shelter. A lot of people think domestic violence services equal shelter. They may be protection from abuse orders. They may be just strategizing around their safety. Is there another place to stay? There may be legal options they want to explore, medical options. We look at a number of different things. So, and sometimes people just need to talk to somebody, and they may make that phone call several times before actually taking that first step.
Well, you're the expert on this, so I'll ask you, but from statistics I've read, it appears the greatest danger is when the victim first leaves.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, the statistic is 75% of lethalities related to domestic violence happen when the woman is attempting to leave. The thing that makes me nervous about that statistic is I don't want listeners and viewers to hear this and it prevent them from leaving. But that's typically when the abuser is in a state of desperation. They are losing their power. We have seen that in York County to be true and consistent with that data. And we've also recognized that some of our fatalities have happened when the abuser is luring the victim back in. It may be, hey, I have mail for you. Come talk. Let's go through this box of things together. And we've had fatalities result that way as well.
Would you ever recommend saying, let's meet some neutral place if they're trying to lure them back in, where there's people around? But obviously this latest incident, it doesn't matter if there was someone else there.
Right. Typically we don't recommend that because we know that abuser, domestic violence is all about power and control.
Absolutely.
And once the victim leaves, that power and control is threatened, and the abuser typically becomes very desperate, and people do horrific things in desperation, as we see all the time.
Well, how does this fit in when they go back to retrieve some of their belongings? I think the woman in this case first had gone back before to get a cat.
Right.
And that worked all right.
Right.
But
well, we always encourage people to utilize the built-in mechanisms with the protection from abuse order. Our sheriffs are typically available to go back to get certain belongings. Now, they won't be there while you move all your furniture out,
correct.
But core belongings. The thing that also people should know is that when you flee a domestic violence situation, we have access to lots of resources. If an individual comes into our shelter or our services and needs clothes, needs medication, needs things, we will obtain all of those things. It's also important to know all of our services are free. There is no barrier.
You need to repeat that again,
Yes,
because
yes.
I think people don't realize that.
Yes, all of our services are free. We will make sure you have the things you need. People have asked about pets before. We have a relationship with the SPCA. We'll even shelter confidentially your pets during your stay. We will make sure you have everything that you need to survive and begin to rebuild your life, and it doesn't cost you a penny. It's true for domestic violence services and sexual assault services.
What would you suggest to a neighbor who sort of believes that their next door neighbor is a victim of domestic violence? They may see bruises, they may hear loud shouting, and they turn their eyes away. What would you suggest to this neighbor? To talk to who they think is being abused, to call your office? How should one handle that?
That's a fabulous question. That's the million-dollar question. What do the rest of us do? And Senator Vance, I think you've identified one of the areas of improvement for all of us, because our propensity is to say that's family business, it's none of my business. What we encourage people to do is to gently let people know there are options available and that they are there if you need help getting to those options.
Now my curiosity is aroused. Let's say the neighbor calls you
Okay.
and say, I suspect this is going on. Do you have any options there?
We don't typically have options. What we will do is encourage the neighbor to notify the police department. Sometimes the police department can be called. We can't respond to a domestic violence situation based upon somebody else's perspective.
Okay.
However, what we say to that neighbor is, if there is a safe way for you to let that neighbor know you are available to help them access those resources, here's what you need to know. So we will resource up anybody that calls us that can help somebody, a bystander in a situation like that. And the world would be a much better place if we were all listening and seeing these things and reaching out to our neighbors to help.
That is so true. And you know, to have a vibrant woman like Barbara Schrum,
Right.
who was so proud of her business and was doing so well in life, to have it taken away, her life taken away from her, just because she chose to help out a friend.
You got it. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable in this world. We shouldn't be okay with this. And I hope this conversation continues. I hope our systems respond to it. I hope everyone takes heart to recognize that domestic violence isn't a single punch, a black eye. It is lethal, and it is a repeated pattern, and it is pervasive. 1 in 3 women.
Really? 1 in 3?
1 in 3
I didn't
women.
realize it was that bad.
Yes, 1 in 3 women. And every 9 seconds, a woman is battered in our country every day.
Those are horrible, horrible
They
statistics.
are. They are.
So, well, thank you for joining me, Rich. I wish we had more time to talk, and I hope everybody will watch this and think, I need to do more.
Please reach out to your local provider. We're here for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Again, we extend our condolences to Becky and Alicia and their entire family. We sincerely hope Shop American Made will continue to operate in York exactly in their mom's honor. I'm Senator Pat Vance. Thank you for watching, and please join us again next month for another edition of the Vance Report.